Alrighty, what is up, my friends? Today I'm bringing you a mandolin lesson, and you can download the tabs for this lesson in the description, which is just this sheet. And it's 9 exercises for the mandolin, learning some basic techniques, some basic scale work just over one chord, and we'll develop it over time. But I'm going to show you an example of how to practice this in a really fun way. We're going to use Strum Machine, and I'm going to share with you my screen. And I'm going to just show you exactly what I'm doing with Strum Machine here. So what I'm going to do is I like to use Blue Ridge Cabin Home as an example, kind of starting on working on different things for a tune, because it's just simple. It goes from the 1 chord, which in this case we're in the key of G, is G, the 4 chord, which is C, and the 5 chord, which is D. And it just goes through those chords. So let's just play through this, and we'll play the chords. And I'm just going to do a basic mandolin chop. So the chop is, we're going to take the G chord, and we're going to strum it on the beat, and muted strum off the beat. Let's see if I can get this here. And I'm just kind of learning the mandolin, and I'm taking you guys along with me and showing you some things I learn along the way. But we're going to do a G chord, chop, and then we're going to do a C chord, chop. And the way that I like to do the C chord right now is just take this G, which is fret 7, 5, 2, 3, and just take that first 3 fingers and move it down 1 string. And in this case, you're playing the first 3 strings there and muting the top one. And you're doing... And where you actually strum matters for how the chop sounds. I like the sound kind of right here. And then for a D, you can just take that same shape and move it up 2 frets, and you get a D chord. So let's play along with the Strum Machine for Little Cabin Home on the Hill. Let's do it kind of slow to start. Not even that slow. This is 90 beats per minute. And I'm just going to press play, and notice on Strum Machine you can adjust the tempo. You can do auto speed up, where it speeds up after it plays for a round. You can do auto finish, so it finishes after 1 round. Let's do that. Let's finish this after 1 round, and we'll play through just the chords. Okay, great. So here's kind of the chop technique. Strum, chop, strum, chop, strum, chop, strum, chop. You're getting used to muting those strings and really emphasizing that offbeat. And right now, in the beginning, I like to start with just down strums. And work on getting a clean sound. And in time, you start to add some up strums. You can do some variations, but don't add that yet, please. Just do down strums. Down, chop, 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 down, chop. If that's too fast for you to practice that, do it slower. Move down the tempo. Here's 60 beats per minute. 2, 3, 4. That's just the chords of the song. Now I'm going to get into the exercise. I'm going to get rid of this screen share here. And we're going to do exercise number 1 on the download in the description. Now that is just a G major scale in 1 octave. So it looks like this. And forgive the rattles on this mandolin. Needs a little bit of work, but that's all right. We're not going for perfection. We're going for playing. A lot of the mandolins and the instruments that the old guys used to play that invented this music were not as good as the instruments we have today. So we get a little spoiled with our instruments. It's okay to play just an okay instrument. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars on something. Although you can, and that's fun too. Okay, so let's get into exercise number 1, and we're going to go through all 9. So we're doing down, up, 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 down, up. I'm going to start at 60 beats per minute, and if I show you my screen, what I do is I click and slide on the first beat there, and if you slide and highlight, it's going to loop. Now, I don't know if you can see that. I hope you can, but if I click and slide on the first chord there, it's only going to play that one chord and loop it. And I'm at 60 beats per minute. So let's hear what that sounds like. And maybe I can, no, I'll just leave it as it is. So I'm going to play the 16th notes at 60 beats per minute. Let's hear this. 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Oh, and I have it on auto finish, so let's take that off. And it's just going to loop continuously. Let's maybe just do it. Let's do it 4 times and let it finish on its own. And a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Oh, I lost my loop. Let's go back to looping. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Okay, that's the first exercise, and what you're going to do is you're going to start at 60 beats per minute, then you're going to go up when that feels comfortable at 60, and you could even start slower than that, but start wherever it's comfortable to do down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up along the scale. And once it's comfortable there, then you're going to move to 70 beats per minute. Now, before I go on, I have my students start their practice session with an hourglass and do 15 minutes a day minimum. You do your 15 minutes whenever you can, and then you knock it off on a visual calendar. So let's say you have a calendar there, you put an X on the calendar that says, I practiced today. That way, at the end of the month, you can see how many days you practiced, and that's very good motivation to practice. So you turn on your hourglass, 15 minutes, let's go. You move it to 70 beats per minute, and then you try the exercise again. 2, 3 E and a 4 E and a. Cool. Then you just go up by tens. Once it's comfortable there, then you go up to 80 beats per minute and 90, 100, and ideally work your way up to at least 100 and at best 120. 3 and a 4. That's 120 sloppy. Okay. I'm going to go back to, let's just do, 70 beats per minute. And then I'm going to stop that screen, and we're going to go to exercise number 2, which is the same thing, 1 octave up. So you start on the last note, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. It's the start of the scale again in the next octave. In this section, exercise number 2, we just do the scale in the next octave. And again, you can download this in the description to follow along here. So, and forgive the tuning there. I can't get it better than that right now. So you're just doing the same thing in the next octave. So let's hear it. 1, 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Okay, beautiful. That's the second exercise. I'm just going to go through each exercise and demonstrate kind of how I would practice that. Let's go to number 3, which is called thirds, playing in thirds. This is when you, instead of just going up the scale, you start on the first note, then you go to the third note. Then you start on the second note and go to the fourth note. You start on the third note and go to the fifth note. Fourth, sixth, fifth, seventh, sixth, first, seventh, second, first. So you're going up 2, down 1, up 2, down 1, up 2, down 1. That's the pattern. Let's hear what it sounds like with the chord accompaniment on Strum Machine. Let's see. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Okay, if that's too fast for you, slow it way down. You know, you can slow it down to anything. You can slow it down to 40 beats per minute. Let's hear what that sounds. And a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. I'll leave it there. You get the idea. You can slow it down even slower than 40. So wherever you need to in order to not make mistakes, that's the speed you want to be going. Once you master that speed, then go up by 5 or 10 and work your way all the way up to 120 doing these 15-minute hourglass sessions. You don't have to get to the highest speed right away. You just have to practice for 15 minutes. And however far you get, you can pick up there next time and keep going. So you see how when you do little chunks, over time you can get significantly better if you get a little bit better every day and don't stop. Let's go to exercise number 4. Let's see. By the way, I might have done exercise 3 wrong there. Sorry. Exercise number 3, I just did exercise number 4. Exercise 3 is just 1 and 2 put together. So it's just both octaves of the scale. Yeah. So I'll just give you a quick example of that. Sorry, exercise number 3, but I think you guys get the idea. 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. That's the gist of exercise 3. I already did 4. Let's go to number 5. Number 5 is the same as number 4, just in the second octave. You're starting to see a pattern in these exercises. We're just working our way up. So if you start in the second octave and you do thirds, it sounds like this. And then backwards. Okay, let's hear that. And a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Okay. You would work that, you know, all the way up to 100 beats per minute, 120 beats per minute if you can make it that far. Again, you can. You just need to slowly progress and not try to rush. That's the key. If you want to learn how to play fast, really get good at playing slow. It's the only way. It truly is the only way. So don't rush. Okay, number 6. What we're doing here is we're outlining the G chord. When we have a chord like G, that tuning's bugging me, but I'm not going to let it. When we have a chord like G, well, where did that chord come from? Where do babies come from? Babies like G. they come from the scale. So we started with the scale, and I like to call it by numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. There's 7 notes in a scale, and then it starts back at 1. When we make a chord, we start on the first note, we skip the second note, we play the third note, we skip the fourth note, and we play the fifth note. So a chord is made up of 1, 3, 5 in terms of scale notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The chord is 1, 3, 5. And those 3 notes make up the G chord, which is G, B, D. And if we play those notes all the way up both octaves, we get something like this. So that's the first 3. Root, third, fifth. There's the root again. Root, third, fifth. So you're playing the same thing twice there, just in 2 different octaves. Root, root, third, fifth, root, third, fifth. And then we're just going to add a note on the top here. You can add that high note. We're just not going to right now. We're just going to do. So learn that pattern, get comfortable with it. Try it with just downstrokes. Down, 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 down. Don't rush getting comfortable with that. You know, you could just take 3 notes or 4 and get used to that. You know, try different variations. You make a little tune out of it. You can play along with just 1 chord on Strum Machine. Again, I've got the first chord looped, which is G. Here's me just noodling around on just the first 4 notes of exercise 6, which is the G chord, triad. Root, third, fifth, root. Let me play with that and show you what I mean. See, just noodling around on that and using either just downstrokes or down up. Whenever you're using down and up strokes, you always go down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. No matter what you're playing, it's always down, up. So, again, if you play root, third, fifth, root, then you start again here, root, third, fifth, root. And the way the exercise is written is like this. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and So if I play it exactly like that, it might sound a little something like this. I'm going to slow it down even to 50 beats per minute. I have my Strum Machine set to auto finish after 4 times, but usually when I'm practicing, if I wasn't making a video, I'd just leave it on going and practice that for as long as it took for me to feel extremely comfortable with doing that, which sometimes takes a long time. You know, it does. It takes a long time for most of us, all of us. So that's number 6. We're going to move on to number 7. I'm going to give you a little insight into number 7. It's very cool. You don't have to pick these things up right away. You know, I didn't understand this until, you know, very late in my music journey. So I'm giving you kind of some later stuff. You can just learn the shape, and that's just good enough. But in a G chord, we talked about that it's made from the root, the third, and the fifth. There's a mathematical formula to get from a G chord to a C chord, and that formula is like this. The root stays the same. So that's interesting to notice. From the 1 chord to the 4 chord, the root is in both of them. So you can use the root note in both the 1 and the 4 chord. Very key information. as you go down and learn to play melodically. If you're playing the 4 chord, you can almost play like you're playing over the 1 chord, and it's going to work because the root note is in the 4 chord, so it works well. So the root stays the same. The third, instead of playing the third, what are we going to play? What chord are we on? We're on the 4 chord, so we're going to play the 4th note of the scale, which is where the 4 chord starts, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the C. So we're instead of playing 1, 3, 5, we're going to play 1, 4, 6, and that's what gives us the C chord. 1, 4, 6. So the 1 stays the same, the 3 moves to 4, the 5 moves to 6. So there's three notes in a chord. In this case, when we're moving from the 1 to the 4, one of those notes stays the same, and the other 2 change. The 3rd goes up 1 fret, the 5th goes up 2 frets. Another way of saying that is the 3rd goes to the 4th, the 5th goes to the 6th, and you've got a C, right? So the arpeggio of that, or the triad, is, sorry, let me do this again. So I think I might have wrote this wrong. Yeah, I did. So just so you know, on the C, the first 4 notes are right. This is number 7 on the exercise. When you go to the next string, it's the 3rd fret, not the 2nd. So it's going to be, the frets are 0, 5, 2, 5, 3, 0, 3. So maybe I can edit that out. By the time I post this, actually, I can post it correctly. So there'll be a little scribble on the page you see. So the way that number 7 is written is like this. Okay, so we've got, in this case, we've got the 5th, root, 3rd. Remember, in every chord, there's only 3 notes, root, 3rd, and 5th. It's just what order are they in. In this case, it's 5th, of the C chord. The G is the 5. C, D, E, F, G, right? That's how we're figuring these things out. 5th, root, which is the C. That's the C right there. 3rd, which is the E. G, C, E. 5th, root, 3rd. You don't have to know these things. I'm just planting seeds. You can just learn the frets, learn the sounds. Back to the 5th there. 5th, 5th, do. So that's the second part. So just learn that shape. Now what you're going to do, look at my screen here. Instead of looping the 1 chord, we're going to exit that out, and we're going to loop the 4 chord. And I hope you see that. What I'm doing is it might not actually show on the screen, but what I'm doing is I'm pressing down on the 4 chord, and I'm dragging my finger across so it highlights it blue. And then if I press play, it only plays what is highlighted. So that's a loop on the 4 chord, which is C. Let's hear what this sounds like. 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Now, when I make a mistake, if I made a mistake, I didn't play it exactly as I wrote it every time, because sometimes I made a mistake. You can just kind of keep going. Any one of these notes that you play is going to work. So you don't have to go in exactly the same order every single time, although you can practice that, and it's a good thing to practice. I'll give you an example. I'll just play random notes from this pattern. Right? So you don't have to play exactly. You can play around. Yeah. I played that high note. I didn't write it down, but you could use that. Anyway, I'm not going to add too much complexity here. Keep it simple. That's the C triad, or this, yeah, C triad arpeggio. What's the difference between a triad and an arpeggio? Well, a triad is really just the 3 notes. The arpeggio is kind of repeating them over a span. Yeah. Right? That's over the C. So you can practice C, loop it, on the 4 chord, and that's, valid. We've practiced for 15 minutes. We're going to twist it again because we've got a bit more to go before we finish. You can mark your X on the calendar. Make sure you do that. Okay, moving to the D chord, I'm going to highlight the 5, which is the D chord, in the key of G. G, A, B, C, D, 5 chord. We're going to highlight that. Again, you might not see it on the screen, but that's what I'm doing in order to loop that chord. Get rid of the screen there. And I'm going to play the 5 chord, and I'm going to play exercise number 8, which is the D arpeggio. I'll give you the formula here. When we played the G chord, it was root, 3rd, 5th, right in the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, root, 3rd, 5th. We said the formula to get to C was to keep the root the same, take the 3rd, move it to the 4th, take the 5th and move it to the 6th, then you get the C sound. How do you get to D? Well, here's the formula for that. You take the root and you move it to the 2nd. So the 1st moves to the 2nd. The, let's see, you keep the 5th the same. So in G it was root, 3rd, 5th. We're going to keep that the same. We're going to do 2nd, 5th, 7th. So we the notes in the 5 chord, if you talk about the scale, is the 2nd note in the scale, the 5th note in the scale, and the 7th note in the scale. If you know what that is, 2, 5, 7, you've got the D chord. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2, 5, 7. And then you just do that in all the octaves. So 2, 2, 5, 7. Again, you don't have to think about all these things, but I'm just planting little seeds so you kind of are starting to think like this, but it's not all going to come to you at once. Just learn the shapes to start. 2, 5, 7, 2, 5, 7, 2. So that all together sounds like this. That's the first section. You can even just learn that. That sounds like that trumpet thing in movies. And I'm just going down, up, 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 down. That's funny. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, or 2, 5, 7. And then it does it again. 2, 5, 7, and then we play the 5th fret there. So that's the whole thing. Then you're getting comfortable with that. Don't try to speed up too quick like I just did there. So that is the D arpeggio. Now if I play it, again I looped the 5 chord, I press play, and 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a... get the idea. You're just kind of moving through that arpeggio, practicing it along with the rhythm. Okay, 2 more things I'm going to give you before we finish here, and these are all meant to be practiced in chunks, not all at once. So this is a video that you can return to and use little pieces of. That's the idea of this video, is not for you to learn all this at once. This is kind of like this is a bunch of lessons in one that you can spoon feed. Okay, number 9 on the manifesto, Mandolin Manifesto. It's a book I'm writing, by the way. This is page 1, and as I write it, I'm going to kind of share things from it, my process learning the mandolin. From I'm a guitar player, but I'm applying everything I know from guitar to mandolin and learning some things along the way. So this last one is a great scale exercise, and you go up 4 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4. You start on the first note and go up 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you start on the second note and go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You start on the third note and go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Start on the 4th and go up 4. You get the idea. You do that all the way up. So you land back on that root. Okay, cool. So that's for the first octave, right, from here. You can also do it on the second octave. I don't think I wrote that down, but yeah, of course, you can do this on the second octave. Okay, you can also do this backwards. So here's backwards from the first octave. Very last section of that isn't in accordance with the pattern because you run out of notes on the low end, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. You can't go down 1, so you just go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. You go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And you end on the root there. On the high section, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. I like doing it like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, so that's the idea with that. I will loop just a G chord. Just a G chord. And I'll practice that exercise. 3E and a 4E and a. Backwards. I messed that up, doesn't matter. As long as you end right. But I'll try it one more time. 2E and a 3E and a 4. Backwards. Okay, that's the last exercise on the page. Look, we got a thumbs up from the gods. We're gonna now what we're gonna do is it's good to kind of, as well as doing like methodical ninja-like practice like this, kind of play around as well. So one thing I would like to do is I would take exercise 6, 7, and 8, and I would play Blue Ridge Cabin Home chord structure on Strum Machine, and over the 1 chord I would do the G, right? So exercise number 6. Over the 4 chord, I would do the C pattern, exercise number 7. And over the 5 chord, I would do the D pattern, exercise number 8. I'll give you an example of that. 2, 3E and a 4E and a. I'm going to take that auto finish and just do it as 1. Let's try this one more time, but you get the idea. I'm just kind of floating through the arpeggio during the period of that chord, and wherever I am on the arpeggio, once it switches to C, I'll switch to the C variation of the arpeggio. Even if I'm not perfectly right at the bottom, if I switch to the D, I'll start here. And if I'm at the top when it switches to the C, I'll go, well, what's the next closest note in the C? Oh. What's the next G? C, D. So you're kind of getting used to being able to float between the different arpeggios with the chord. So one more time, let's play it. Okay. 1 E and let's do it a bit faster for fun. Let's do it at 80 beats per minute. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. Cool, you get the idea. You can start to get creative at that point, and have fun playing, and also just using your intuition and your ears, which is also part of practicing. So I hope this is helpful for you. It's a lot of info. It's simple, but there's a lot you can do with it if you really take your time. So use your timer, do 15 minutes a day, mark it off on the calendar every day you do it, and keep getting better every day. Over weeks, months, years, and decades, that will take you to a whole different place when it comes to music, and give you a whole lifetime of fun. So thanks for watching this. We'll see you in the next video. Oh, please, before I leave, like, share, subscribe. I'm growing this channel, and I'd love to get more people to share the joy of music with. So please do help me share this channel. And with that being said, we'll see you guys in the next one.